Shalom, Ashbaka. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel, Tina Alishaba. I pray all is well and that you are resting in Yahuah today. Well, we're going to pick up where we left off at, which is in the book of Jasher, or the Cepher of Yashar, chapters 31 through 35. It's getting really, really good. And I had a sister, I give a shout out to Akuti Tracy. She's been reading along and she said, ooh, I forgot that Nimrod was killed by Esau or unalived by Esau. And what I love about Jasher is you get a lot of backstory that you don't get in the book of Genesis or the Cepher of Bereshith. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to go to the playlist and you can access the other chapters that have been read. I read 5 chapters at a time, and you can catch up with us. And also, if you're, you've been following along, but you haven't, but you need some other books or, readings throughout the week, just so you can meditate on Yah's word day and night. The playlist also has other books that I've read over time, from Torah to the prophets to even the book of Enoch or the Cepher of Canak. Just books that are not even part of the traditional Bible. And that's why I love the Cepher, because it definitely combines what we've read, those of us that have been in religion prior to waking up to truth, with the traditional Bible, to those books that were taken out that are in specifically the Cepher, that actually pull everything together and make it make sense, and definitely reveal of why they've taken these books out, because it brings a lot of confirmation to who the true people of the Bible are, and also the prophecies that were that confirm what's in the traditional Bible, that confirm them as well. And just and also for those of us, especially with us being woken up to truth and desiring to walk in Yahuah's ways, as the old covenant and the renewed covenant remind us to do so. If you love Yah, walk in his ways. Love is not an emotion, it's action. And Yahuah loves us by providing for us, protecting us. In fact, he left us his word that we can read it and meditate on it and take action and live according to the way he's called us to live. So it's just a beautiful thing. So I praise Yah for just waking me up, and I praise Yah, and I thank him for waking you up if you are truly woken up to truth, or if you at this point, you come across the channel and you're like, what is this? And you haven't quite woken up to truth yet. I pray that that the seeds are being planted, and that you have greater clarity on what it means to be a child of the Most High, of a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and that you make changes to your lifestyle, come out of the Babylonian way of life, and that you learn to live set apart based upon what his word has commanded us to do, or has charged us to do, in guarding his Torah. So with that said, without further ado, let's get started. So if you haven't gotten a hold of your Cepher yet, please grab it, or your Hallelujah scriptures, so you can follow along. Now let's get started. Chapter 31. And in the 7th year, Yaakov's service which he served Laban was completed. And Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my woman, for the days of my service are fulfilled. And Laban did so. And Laban and Yaakov assembled all the people of that place, and they made a feast. And in the evening Laban came to the house, and afterward Yaakov came there with the people of the feast. And Laban extinguished all the lights that were there in the house. And Yaakov said unto Laban, Wherefore do you do this thing unto us? And Laban answered, Such is our custom to act in this land. And afterward Laban took his daughter Leah and brought her to Yaakov, and he came to her. And Yaakov did not know that she was Leah. And Laban gave his daughter Leah, his maid Zilpah, for a handmaid. And all the people at the feast knew what Laban had done to Yaakov, but they did not tell the thing to Yaakov. And all the neighbors came that night to Yaakov's house, and they ate and drank and rejoiced, and played before Leah upon timbrels and with dances, and they responded before Yaakov, Heleah, Heleah. And Yaakov heard their words, but did not understand their meaning. But he thought such might be their custom in this land. And the neighbors spoke these words before Yaakov during the night. And all the lights that were in the house Laban had that night extinguished. And in the morning, when daylight appeared, Yaakov turned to his woman, and he saw, and behold, it was Leah that had been lying in his bosom. And Yaakov said, Behold, now I know what the neighbors said last night. Heleah, they said, and I knew it not. And Yaakov called unto Laban, and said unto him, What is this that you did unto me? Surely I served you for Rachel, and why did you deceive me, and did give me Leah? And Laban answered Yaakov, saying, Not so is done in our place to give the younger before the elder. Now therefore, if you desire to take her sister likewise, take her unto you for the service which you will serve me for another 7 years. And Yaakov did so, and he also took Rachel for a woman, and he served Laban 7 years more. And Yaakov also came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. And Laban gave her his maid Bilhah for a handmaid. And when Yahuah saw that Leah was hated, Yahuah opened her womb, and she conceived and bore Yaakov 4 sons in those days. And these are the names: Reuben, Shimon, Levi, and Yehudah. And she afterward left bearing. And at that time Rachel was barren, and she had no offspring. And Rachel envied her sister Leah. And when Rachel saw that she bore no children to Yaakov, she took her handmaid Bilhah, and she bore Yaakov 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she also took her handmaid Zilpah, and she gave her to Yaakov for a woman. And Yaakov also came to Zilpah, and she also bore Yaakov 2 sons, Gad and Asher. And Leah again conceived and bore Yaakov in those days 2 sons and 1 daughter. And these are their names: Issachar, Zebulun, and their sister Dinah. And Rachel was still barren in those days, and Rachel prayed unto Yahuah at that time. And she said, O Yahuah, remember me and visit me, I beseech you, for now my man will cast me off, for I have borne him no children. Now, O Yahuah, hear my supplication before you, and see my affliction, and give me children like one of the handmaids, that I may no longer bear my reproach. And Yahuah heard her, and opened her womb, and Rachel conceived and bore a son. And she said, Yahuah has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, saying, May Yahuah add to me another son. And Yaakov was 91 years old when she bore him. At that time Yaakov's mother, Rivkah, sent her nurse, Deborah, the daughter of Uz, and 2 of Yishak's servants unto Yaakov. And they came to Yaakov to Haran, and they said unto him, Rivkah has sent us to you, that you shall return to your father's house, to the land of Canaan. And Yaakov hearkened unto them, and this which his mother had spoken. At that time the other 7 years which Yaakov served Laban for Rachel were completed. And it was at the end of the 14 years that he had dwelt in Haran, that Yaakov said unto Laban, Give me my women, and send me away, that I may go to my land. For behold, my mother did send unto me from the land of Canaan, that I should return to my father's house. And Laban said unto him, Not so, I pray you. If I have found favor in your sight, do not leave me. Appoint me your wages, and I will give them, and remain with me. And Yaakov said unto him, This is what you shall give me for wages, that I shall this day pass through all your flock, and take away from them every lamb that is speckled and spotted, and such as are brown amongst the sheep, and amongst the goat. And if you will do this thing for me, I will return and feed your flock, and keep them as at first. And Laban did so. And Laban removed from his flock all that Yaakov had said, and gave them to him. And Yaakov placed all that he had removed from Laban's flock in the hands of his sons, and Yaakov was feeding the remainder of Laban's flock. And when the servants of Yashar, which he had sent unto Yaakov, saw that Yaakov would not then return with them to the land of Canaan to his father, they then went away from him, and they returned home to the land of Canaan. And Deborah remained with Yaakov in Haran, and she did not return with the servants of Yashar to the land of Canaan. And Deborah resided with Yaakov's women and children in Haran. And Yaakov served Laban 6 years longer. And when the sheep brought forth, Yaakov removed from them such as were speckled and spotted, as he had determined with Laban. And Yaakov did so at Laban's for 6 years. And the man increased abundantly, and he had cattle and maidservants and menservants, camels and asses. And Yaakov had 200 drove of cattle, and his cattle were of large size and of beautiful appearance, and were very productive. And all the families of the sons of men desired to get some of the cattle of Yaakov, for they were exceedingly prosperous. And many of the sons of men came to procure some of Yaakov's flock. And Yaakov gave them a sheep for a manservant, or a maidservant, or for an ass, or a camel, or whatsoever Yaakov desired. From them they gave him. And Yaakov obtained riches and honor and possessions by means of these transactions with the sons of men. And the children of Laban envied him of this honor. And in the course of time he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Yaakov has taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's he has acquired all this glory. And Yaakov beheld the countenance of Laban and of his children, and behold, it was not toward him in those days as it had been before. And Yahuah appeared to Yaakov at the expiration of 6 years, and said unto him, Arise, go forth out of this land, and return to the land of your birthplace, and I will be with you. And Yaakov rose up at that time, and he mounted his children and women, and all belonging to him, upon camels, and he went forth to go to the land of Canaan, to his father Yashar. And Laban did not know that Yaakov had gone from him, for Laban had been that day sheep shearing. And Rachel stole her father's images, and she took them, and she concealed them upon the camel which she sat, and she went on. And this is the manner of the images. And taking a man who is the firstborn, and slaying him, and taking the hair of his head, and taking salt, and salting his head, and anointing it in oil, then taking a small tablet of copper, or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue, and taking the head with the tablet under the tongue, and putting it in the house, and lighting up lights before it, and bowing down to it. And at that time, when they bow down to it, it speaks to them in all matters that they ask of it, through the power of the name which is written in it. And some make them in the figures of men, of gold and silver, and go to them in times known to them. And the figures receive the influence of the stars, and tell them future things. And in this manner were the images which Rachel stole from her father. And Rachel stole these images which were her fathers, in order that Laban might not know through them where Yaakov had gone. And Laban came home, and he asked concerning Yaakov and his household, and he was not to be found. And Laban sought his images to know where Yaakov had gone, and could not find them. And he went to some other images, and he inquired of them, and they told him that Yaakov had fled from him to his fathers to the land of Canaan. And Laban then rose up, and he took his brothers and all his servants, and he went forth and pursued Yaakov. And he overtook him in Mount Galaad. And Laban said unto Yaakov, What is this you have done to me, to flee and deceive me, and lead my daughters and their children as captives taken by the sword? And you did not suffer me to kiss them and send them away with joy, as you did steal my Elohim, and did go away. And Yaakov answered Laban, saying, Because I was afraid lest you would take your daughters by force from me, and now with whomsoever you find your Elohim, he shall die. And Laban searched for the images, and examined in all of Yaakov's tents and furniture, but he could not find them. And Laban said unto Yaakov, We will cut a covenant together, and it shall be a testimony between me and you. If you shall afflict my daughters, or shall take other women besides my daughters, even Yahuah shall be a witness between me and you in this matter. And they took stones and made a heap, and Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and you. Therefore he called the name thereof Galaad. And Yaakov and Laban offered sacrifices upon the mount. And they ate there by the heap, and they tarried in the mount all night. And Laban rose up early in the morning, and he wept with his daughters, and kissed them, and returned unto his place. And he hastened and sent off his son Beor, who was 17 years old, with Avikaroph, the son of Utz, the son of Nachor, and with them were 10 men. And they hastened and went and passed on the road before Yaakov, and they came by another road to the land of Seir. And they came unto Esau, and said unto him, Thus says your brother and relative, your mother's brother Laban, the son of Bethuel, saying, Have you heard what Yaakov your brother has done unto me, who came to me naked and bare? And I went to meet him, and brought him to my house with honor, and I made him great, and I gave him my 2 daughters for women, and also 2 of my maids. And Yahuah blessed him on my account, and he increased abundantly, and had sons and daughters, and maidservants. He has also an immense stock of flocks and herds, camels and asses, also silver and gold in abundance. And when he saw that his wealth increased, he left me while I went to shear my sheep. And he rose up and fled in secrecy. And he lifted his women and children upon camels, and he led away all his cattle and property which he had acquired in my land. And he lifted up his countenance to go to his father Yashar to the land of Canaan. And he did not suffer me to kiss my daughters and their children. And he led my daughters also as captives taken by the sword. And he also stole my Elohim, and he fled. And now I have left him in the mountain of the brook of Yabak, him and all belonging to him. He lacks nothing. If it be your wish to go to him, go then, and there you will find him. And you can do unto him as your soul desires. And Laban's messengers came and told Esau all these things. And Esau heard all the words of Laban's messengers, and his anger was greatly kindled against Yaakov, and he remembered his hatred, and his anger burned within him. And Esau hastened and took his children and servants and the souls of his household, being 60 men, and he went and assembled all the children of Seir, the quarry, and their people, being 340 men, and took all this number of 400 men with drawn swords, and went unto Yaakov to smite him. And Esau divided this number into several parts. And he took the 60 men of his children and servants and the souls of his household as one head, and gave them in care of Eliphaz, his eldest son. And the remaining heads he gave to the care of the 6 sons of Seir the Kori. And he placed every man over his generations and children. And the whole of this camp went as it was, and Esau went amongst them toward Yaakov, and he conducted them with speed. And Laban's messengers departed from Esau and went to the land of Canaan, and they came to the house of Rivkah, the mother of Yaakov and Esau. And they told her, saying, Behold, your son Esau is gone against his brother Yaakov with 400 men, for he heard that he was coming, and he is gone to make war with him, and to smite him, and to take all that he has. And Rivkah hastened and sent 72 men from the servants of Yashar to meet Yaakov on the road. For she said, Perchance Esau may make war in the road when he meets him. And these messengers went on the road to meet Yaakov, and they met him in the road of the brook, on the opposite side of the brook of Yabak. And Yaakov saw, when he saw them, This camp is destined to me from Yahuah. And Yaakov called the name of that place Machnayim. And Yaakov knew all his father's people, and he kissed them and embraced them and came with them. And Yaakov asked them concerning his father and mother, and they said they were well. And these messengers said unto Yaakov, Rivkah your mother has sent us to you, saying, I have heard, my son, that your brother Esau has gone forth against you on the road with men from the children of Seir the Kori. And therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and see with your counsel what you will do. And when he comes up to you, supplicate him, and do not speak rashly to him, and give him a present from what you possess, and from what Yahuah has favored you with. And when he asks you concerning your affairs, conceal nothing from him. Perchance he may turn from his anger against you, and will thereby save your soul, you and all belonging to you. For it is your duty to honor him, for he is your elder brother. And when Yaakov heard the words of his mother, which the messengers had spoken to him, Yaakov lifted up his voice, and he wept bitterly, and did as his mother then commanded him. Chapter 32. And at that time Yaakov sent messengers to his brother Esau toward the land of Seir, and he spoke to him with words of supplication. And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall you say to my Adonai, to Esau, Thus says your servant Yaakov, Let not my Adonai imagine that my father's blessing, with which he did bless me, has proved beneficial to me. For I have been these 20 years with Laban, and he deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, as it has all been already told unto my Adonai. And I served him in his house very laboriously. And Yahuah afterwards saw my affliction, my labor, and the work of my hands, and he caused me to find grace and favor in his sight. And I afterward, through Yahuah's great mercy and kindness, acquired oxen and asses and cattle, and menservants and maidservants. And now I am coming to my land and my home, to my father and mother, who are in the land of Canaan. And I have sent to let my Adonai know all this in order to find favor in the sight of my Adonai, so that he may not imagine that I have of myself obtained wealth, or that the blessing with which my father blessed me has benefited me. And those messengers went to Esau and found him on the borders of the land of Edom, going toward Yaakov, and 400 men of the children of Seir the Kori were standing with drawn swords. And the messengers of Yaakov told Esau all the words that Yaakov had spoken to them concerning Esau. And Esau answered them with pride and contempt, and said unto them, Surely I have heard, and truly it has been told to me, what Yaakov has done to Laban, who exalted him in his house, and gave him his daughters for women. And he begat sons and daughters, and abundantly increased in wealth and riches in Laban's house through his means. And when he saw that his wealth was abundant and his riches great, He fled with all belonging to him from Laban's house, and he led Laban's daughters away from the face of their father, as captives taken by the sword without telling him of it. And not only to Laban has Yaakov done thus, but also unto me has he done so, and has twice supplanted me. And shall I be silent? Now therefore I have this day come with my camps to meet him, and I will do unto him according to the desire of my heart. And the messengers returned and came to Yaakov and said unto him, We came to your brother, to Esau. We told him all your words, and thus has he answered us. And behold, he comes to meet you with 400 men. Now then, know and see what you shall do, and pray before Yahuah to deliver you from him. And when he heard the words of his brother, which he had spoken to the messengers of Yaakov, Yaakov was greatly afraid and was distressed. And Yaakov prayed to Yahuah, and he said, O Yahuah of my fathers, Abraham and Yishak, you did say unto me when I went away from my father's house, saying, I am Yahuah of your father Abraham, and the Eluah of Yishak. Unto you do I give this land, and your seed after you, and I will make your seed as the stars of heaven, and you shall spread forth to the four sides of heaven. And in you and in your seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And you did establish your words, and did give unto me riches and children and cattle. As the utmost wishes of my heart did you give unto your servant, and you did give unto me all that I asked from you, so I lack nothing. And you did afterward say unto me, Return to your parents and to your birthplace, and I will do well with you. And now that I have come, and you did deliver me from Laban, I shall fall in the hands of Esau, who will slay me, yes, together with the mothers of my children. Now therefore, O Yahuah, deliver me, I pray you, also from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am greatly afraid of him. And if there is no righteousness in me, do it for the sake of Abraham and my father Yishak. For I know that through kindness and mercy have I acquired this wealth. Now therefore I beseech you to deliver me this day with your kindness, and to answer me. And Yaakov ceased praying to Yahuah, and he divided the people that were with him with the flocks and cattle into 2 camps. And he gave the half to the care of Damasek, the son of Eliezer, Abraham's servant, for a camp, with his children, and the other half he gave to the care of his brother Elianuk, the son of Eliezer, to be for a camp with his children. And he commanded them, saying, Keep yourselves at a distance with your camps, and do not come too near each other. And if Esau come to one camp and slay it, the other camp at a distance from it will escape him. And Yaakov tarried there that night. And during the whole night he gave his servants instructions concerning the forces and his children. And Yahuah heard the prayer of Yaakov on that day. And Yahuah then delivered Yaakov from the hands of his brother Esau. And Yahuah sent 3 angels of the angels of heaven, and they went before Esau and came to him. And these angels appeared unto Esau and his people as 2,000 men, riding upon horses, furnished with all sorts of war instruments. And they appeared in the sight of Esau and all his men to be divided into 4 camps, with 4 chiefs to them. And one camp went on, and they found Esau coming with 400 men toward his brother Yaakov. And this camp ran toward Esau and his people, and terrified them. And Esau fell off the horse in alarm. And all his men separated from him in that place, for they were greatly afraid. And the whole of his camp shouted after them when they fled from Esau. And all the warlike men answered, saying, Surely we are the servants of Yaakov, who is the servant of Yahuah. And who then can stand against us?
And Esau said unto them, O then, my Adonai, and my brother Yaakov is your Adonai, whom I have not seen for these 20 years, and now that I have this day come to see him, do you treat me in this manner? And the angels answered him, saying, As Yahuah lives, were not Yaakov, of whom you speak, your brother, we had not let one remaining from you and your people, but only on account of Yaakov will we do nothing to them. And this camp passed from Esau and his men, and it went away. And Esau and his men had gone from them about a league when the second camp came toward him with all sorts of weapons. And they also did unto Esau and his men as the first camp had done to them. And when they had left it to go on, behold, the third camp came toward him, and they were all terrified. And Esau fell off the horse. And the whole camp cried out and said, Surely we are the servants of Yaakov, who is the servant of Yahuah. Who can stand against us? And Esau again answered them, saying, O then, Yaakov, my Adonai, and your Adonai is my brother. And for 20 years I have not seen his countenance. And hearing this day that he was coming, I went this day to meet him. And do you treat me in this manner? And they answered him and said unto him, As Yahuah lives, were not Yaakov your brother, as you did say, we had not left a remnant from you and your men, but on account of Yaakov, of whom you speak, being your brother, we will not meddle with you or your men. And the third camp also passed from them, and he still continued his road with his men toward Yaakov, when the fourth camp came toward him, and they also did unto him and his men as the others had done. And when Esau beheld the evil which the 4 angels had done to him and to his men, he became greatly afraid of his brother Yaakov, and he went to meet him in peace. And Esau concealed his hatred against Yaakov, because he was afraid of his life on account of his brother Yaakov, and because he imagined that the 4 camps that he had lighted upon were Yaakov's servants. And Yaakov tarried that night and with his servants and their camps, and he resolved with his servants to give unto Esau a present from all that he had with him, and from all his property. And Yaakov rose up in the morning, he and his men, and they chose from amongst the cattle a present for Esau. And this is the amount of the present which Yaakov chose from his flock to give unto his brother Esau. And he selected 240 head from the flocks, and he selected from the camels and asses 30 each, and of the herds he had chose 50 kine. And he put them all in 10 droves, and he placed each sort by itself, and he delivered them into the hands of 10 of his servants, each drove by itself. And he commanded them, and said unto them, Keep yourselves at a distance from each other, and put a space between the droves. And when Esau and those who are with him shall meet you, and ask you, saying, Whose are you, and whither do you go, and to whom belongs all this before you? You shall say to them, We are the servants of Yaakov, and we come to meet Esau in peace, and behold, Yaakov comes behind us. And that which is before us is a present sent from Yaakov to his brother Esau. And if they shall say unto you, Why does he delay behind you from coming to meet his brother and to see his face? Then you shall say unto him, Surely he comes joyfully behind us to meet his brother. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes to him. And after this, I will see his face. Perchance he will accept me. So the whole present passed on in the hands of his servants, and went before him on that day. And he lodged that night with his camps by the border of the brook of Yabok. And he rose up in the midst of the night, and he took his women and his maidservants, and all belonging to him. And he that night passed them over the ford Yabok. And when he passed all belonging to him over the brook, Yaakov was left by himself. And a man met him, and he wrestled with him that night until the breaking of the day. And the hollow of Yaakov's thigh was out of joint through wrestling with him. And at the break of day the man left Yaakov there, and he blessed him and went away. And Yaakov passed the brook at the break of day, and he halted upon his thigh. And the sun rose upon him when he had passed the brook, and he came up to the place of his cattle and children. And they went on till midday, and while they were going, the present was passing on before them. And Yaakov lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was at a distance, coming along with many men, about 400. And Yaakov was greatly afraid of his brother. And Yaakov hastened and divided his children unto his women and his handmaids. And his daughter Dinah he put in a chest, and delivered her into the hands of his servants. And he passed before his children and women to meet his brother, and he bowed to him to the ground. Yes, he bowed down 7 times until he approached his brother. And Yahuah caused Yaakov to find grace and favor in the sight of Esau and his men, for Yahuah had heard the prayer of Yaakov. And the fear of Yaakov and his terror fell upon his brother Esau, for Esau was greatly afraid of Yaakov for what the angels of Yahuah had done to Esau. And Esau's anger against Yaakov was turned into kindness. And when Esau saw Yaakov running toward him, he also ran toward him, and he embraced him, and he fell upon his neck, and they kissed and wept. And Yahuah put fear and kindness toward Yaakov in the hearts of the men that came with Esau, and they also kissed Yaakov and embraced him. And also Eliphaz, the son of Esau, with his 4 brothers, sons of Esau, wept with Yaakov, and they kissed him and embraced him, for the fear of Yaakov had fallen upon them all. And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women with their offspring, the children of Yaakov, walking behind Yaakov and bowing along the road to Esau. And Esau said unto Yaakov, Who are these with you, my brother? Are they your children or your servants? And Yaakov answered Esau and said, They are my children which Yahuah has graciously given to your servant. And while Yaakov was speaking to Esau and his men, Esau beheld the whole camp. And he said unto Yaakov, Whence did you get the whole of the camp that I met yesternight? And Yaakov said, To find favor in the sight of my Adonai. It is that which Yahuah graciously gave to your servant. And the present came before Esau, and Yaakov pressed Esau, saying, Take, I pray you, the present that I have brought to my Adonai. And Esau said, Wherefore is this my purpose? Keep that which you have unto yourself. And Yaakov said, It is incumbent upon me to give all this, since I have seen your face, that you still live in peace. And Esau refused to take the present, and Yaakov said unto him, I beseech you, my Adonai, if now I found favor in your sight, then receive my present at my hand, for I have therefore seen your face, as though I had seen an Elohim-like face, because you were pleased with me. And Esau took the present, and Yaakov also gave unto Esau silver and gold and bdellium, for he pressed them so much that he took them. And Esau divided the cattle that were in the camp, and he gave the half to the men who had come with him, for they had come on hire, and the other half he delivered unto the hands of his children. And the silver and gold and bdellium he gave in the hands of Eliphaz his eldest son. And Esau said unto Yaakov, Let us remain with you, and we will go slowly along with you until you come to my place with me, that we may dwell there together. And Yaakov answered his brother and said, I would do as my Adonai speaks unto me, but my Adonai knows that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with their young, who are with me, go but slowly, for if they went swiftly, they would all die, for you know their burdens and their fatigue. Therefore let my Adonai pass on before his servant, and I will go on slowly for the sake of the children and the flock, until I come to my Adonai's place to Seir. And Esau said unto Yaakov, I will place with you some of the people that are with me to take care of you in the road, and bear your fatigue and burden. And he said, What needs it, my Adonai, if I may find grace in your sight? Behold, I will come unto you to Seir, to dwell there together, as you have spoken. Go you then with your people, for I will follow you. And Yaakov said this to Esau in order to remove Esau and his men from him, so that Yaakov might afterward go to his father's house to the land of Canaan. And Esau hearkened to the voice of Yaakov. And Esau returned with the 400 men that were with him on the road to Seir. And Yaakov and all belonging to him went that day as far as the extremity of the land of Canaan and its borders, and he remained there some time. Chapter 33. And some time after Yaakov went away from the borders of the land, he came to the land of Shalum, that is the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, and he rested in front of the city. And he bought a parcel of the field which was there from the children of Camar, the people of the land, for 5 shekels. And Yaakov there built himself a house, and he pitched his tent there, and he made a Succoth for his cattle. Therefore he called the name of the place Succoth. And Yaakov remained in Succoth 1 year and 6 months. At that time some of the women of the inhabitants of the land went to the city of Shechem to dance and rejoice with the daughters of the people of the city. And when they went forth, then Rachel and Leah, the women of Yaakov, with their families, also went to behold the rejoicing of the daughters of the city. And Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, also went along with them, and saw the daughters of the city. And they remained there before these daughters, while all the people of the city were standing by them to behold their rejoicings, and all the great people of the city were there. And Shechem, the son of Camar, the prince of the land, was also standing there to see them. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, sitting with her mother before the daughters of the city. And the damsel pleased him greatly. And he there asked his friends and his people, saying, Whose daughter is that sitting amongst the women, whom I do not know in this city? And they said unto him, Surely this is the daughter of Yaakov, the son of Yitzchak the Ivri, who has dwelt in this city for some time. And when it was reported that the daughters of the land were going forth to rejoice, she went with her mother and maidservants to sit amongst them, as you see. And Shechem beheld Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov. And when he looked at her, his soul became fixed upon Dinah. And he sent and had taken her by force. And Dinah came to the house of Shechem. And he seized her forcibly, and lay with her, and humbled her. And he loved her exceedingly, and placed her in his house. And they came and told the thing unto Yaakov. And when Yaakov heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, Yaakov sent 12 of his servants to fetch Dinah from the house of Shechem. And they went and came to the house of Shechem to take away Dinah from there. And when they came, Shechem went out to them with his men, and drove them from his house, and he would not suffer them to come before Dinah. But Shechem was sitting with Dinah, kissing and embracing her before their eyes. And the servants of Yaakov came back and told him, saying, When we came, he and his men drove us away, and thus did Shechem do unto Dinah before our eyes. And Yaakov knew moreover that Shechem had defiled his daughter, but he said nothing. And his sons were feeding his cattle in the field, and Yaakov remained silent till their return. And before his sons came home, Yaakov sent 2 maidens from his servants' daughters to take care of Dinah in the house of Shechem, and to remain with her. And Shechem sent 3 of his friends to his father Camar, the son of Chedicum, the son of Pered, saying, Get me this damsel for a woman. And Camar, the son of Chedicum, the Kevi, came to the house of Shechem his son, and he sat before him. And Camar said unto his son Shechem, Is there no woman amongst the daughters of your people that you would take, and every woman who is not of your people? And Shechem said to him, Her only must you get for me, for she is delightful in my sight. And Camar did according to the word of his son, for he was greatly beloved by him. And Camar went forth to Yaakov to commune with him concerning this matter. And when he had gone from the house of his son Shechem, before he came to Yaakov to speak unto him, behold, the sons of Yaakov had come from the field, as soon as they heard the thing that Shechem the son of Hamor had done. And the men were very much grieved concerning their sister, and they all came home fired with anger before the time of gathering in their cattle. And they came and sat before their father, and spoke unto him, kindled with wrath, saying, surely death is due to this man and to his household, because Yahuah of the whole earth commanded Noah and his children that no man should never rob nor break wedlock. Now behold, Shechem has both ravaged and committed fornication with our sister, and not one of the people of the city spoke a word to him. Surely you know and understand that the judgment of death is due to Shechem, and to his father, and to the whole city on account of the thing which he has done. And while they were speaking before the father in this matter, behold, Hamor, the father of Shechem, came to speak with Yaakov the words of his son concerning Dinah. And he sat before Yaakov and before his sons. And Hamor spoke unto them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. I pray you give her unto him for a woman, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and we will give you our daughters. And you shall dwell with us in our land, and we will be as one people in the land. For our land is very extensive. So dwell you and trade therein, and get possessions in it, and do therein as you desire. And no one shall prevent you by saying a word to you. And Hamor ceased speaking unto Yaakov and his sons. And behold, Shechem his son had come after him, and he sat before them. And Shechem spoke before Yaakov and his sons, saying, may I find favor in your sight, that you will give me your daughter. And whatsoever you say unto me, that will I do for her. Ask me for abundance of dowry and gift, and I will give it. And whatsoever you shall say unto me, that I will do. And whosoever he be that rebel against your orders, he shall die. Only give me the damsel for a woman. And Shimon and Levi answered Hamor and Shechem his son deceitfully, saying, all you have spoken unto us we will do for you. And behold, our sister Dinah is in your house, but keep away from her until we send to our father Yashar concerning this matter. For we can do nothing without his consent. For he knows the ways of our father Abraham, and whatsoever he says unto us we will tell you. We will conceal nothing from you. And Shimon and Levi spoke this unto Shechem and his father, in order to find a pretext, and to seek counsel what was to be done to Shechem and to his city in this matter. And when Shechem and his father heard the words of Shimon and Levi, it seemed good in their sight, and Shechem and his father came forth to go home. And when they had gone, the sons of Yaakov said unto their father, saying, behold, we know that death is due to these wicked ones and to their city, because they transgressed that which Yahuah had commanded Noah and his children and his seed after them. And also because Shechem did this thing to our sister Dinah in defiling her. For such vileness shall never be done amongst us. Now therefore, know and see what you will do, and seek counsel and pretext what is to be done to them, in order to kill all the inhabitants of this city. And Shimon said to them, here is a proper advice for you. Tell them to circumcise every male amongst them, as we are circumcised. And if they do not wish to do this, we shall take our daughter from them and go away. And if they consent to do this, and will do it, then when they are sunk down with pain, we will attack them with our swords, as upon one who is quiet and peaceable, and we will slay every male person amongst them. And Shimon's advice pleased them, and Shimon and Levi resolved to do unto them as it was proposed. And on the next morning, Shechem and Hamor, his father, came again unto Yaakov and his sons, to speak concerning Dinah, and to hear what answer the sons of Yaakov would give to their words. And the sons of Yaakov spoke deceitfully to them, saying, we told our father Yashar all your words, and your words pleased him. But he spoke unto us, saying, thus did Abraham his father command him from Yahuah of the whole earth, that any man who is not of his descendants, that they should wish to take one of his daughters, shall cause every male belonging to him to be circumcised, as we are circumcised. And then we may give him our daughter for a woman. Now we have made known to you all our ways that our father spoke unto us. For we cannot do this of which you spoke unto us, to give our daughter to an uncircumcised man, for it is a disgrace to us. But herein we will consent to you, to give you our daughter, and we will also take unto ourselves your daughters, and will dwell amongst you, and be one people as you have spoken, if you will hearken to us, and consent to be like us, to circumcise every male belonging to you, as we are circumcised. And if you will not hearken to us, to have every male circumcised as we are circumcised, as we have commanded, then we will come to you and take our daughter from you and go away. And Shechem and his father Camar heard the words of the sons of Yaakov, and the thing pleased them exceedingly. And Shechem and his father Camar hastened to do the wishes of the sons of Yaakov, for Shechem was very fond of Dinah, and his soul was riveted to her. And Shechem and his father hastened to the gate of the city, and they assembled all the men of their city, and spoke unto them the words of the sons of Yaakov, saying, We came to these men, the sons of Yaakov, and we spoke unto them concerning their daughter, and these men will consent to do according to our wishes. And behold, our land is of great extent for them, and they will dwell in it, and trade in it, and we shall be one people. We will take their daughters, and our daughters we will give unto them for women. But only on this condition will these men consent to do this thing, that every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised, as their Yahuah commanded them. And when we shall have done according to their instructions to be circumcised, then will they dwell amongst us, together with their cattle and possessions, and we shall be as one people with them. And when all the men of the city heard the words of Shechem and his father Camar, then all the men of their city were agreeable to this proposal, and they obeyed to be circumcised. For Shechem and his father Camar were greatly esteemed by them, being the princes of the land. And on the next day, Shechem and Camar his father rose up early in the morning, and they assembled all the men of their city into the middle of the city. And they called for the sons of Yaakov, who circumcised every male belonging to them on that day and the next. And they circumcised Shechem and Camar his father, and the 5 brothers of Shechem. And then everyone rose up and went home, for this thing was from Yahuah against the city of Shechem. And from Yahuah was Shimon's counsel in this matter, in order that Yahuah might deliver the city of Shechem into the hands of Yaakov's 2 sons. Chapter 34. And the number of all the males that were circumcised were 645 men and 246 children. But Shechem, son of Pered, the father of Camar, and his 6 brothers, who would not listen unto Shechem and his father Camar, and they would not be circumcised. For the proposal of the sons of Yaakov was loathsome in their sight, and their anger was greatly roused at this, that the people of the city had not hearkened to them. And in the evening of the 2nd day, they found 8 small children who had not been circumcised, for their mothers had concealed them from Shechem and his father Camar, and from the men of the city. And Shechem and his father Camar sent to have them brought before them to be circumcised, when Shechem and his 6 brothers sprang out at them with their swords, and sought to slay them. And they sought to slay also Shechem and his father Camar, and they also sought to slay Dinah with them on account of this matter. And they said unto them, What is this thing you have done? Are there no women amongst the daughters of your brethren in the land of the Canaanim, that you wish to take unto yourselves daughters of the Ivrim, whom you knew not before, and you will do this act which your fathers never commanded you? Do you imagine that you will succeed through this act which you have done? And what will you answer in this affair to your brethren the Canaanim, who will come tomorrow and ask you concerning this thing? And if your acts shall not appear just and good in their sight, what will you do for your lives? And me for our lives, in your not having hearkened to our voices? And if the inhabitants of the land and all your brethren, the children of Cam, shall hear of your act, saying, on account of it every woman did Shechem and Camor his father and all the inhabitants of their city do that with which they had been unacquainted and which their ancestors never commanded them, where then you will fly, or where conceal your shame all your days before your brethren, the inhabitants of the land of Canaan. Now therefore we cannot bear up against this thing which you have done, neither can we be burdened with this yoke upon us, which our ancestors did not command us. Behold, tomorrow we will go and assemble all our brethren, the Canaanite brethren, who dwell in the land, and we all come and smite you and all those who trust in you, that there shall not be a remnant left from you or them. And when Camor and his son Shechem and all the people of the city heard the words of Shechem and his brothers, they were terribly afraid of their lives at their words, and they repented of what they had done. And Shechem and his father answered their father Shechem and his brethren, and they said unto them, all the words which you spoke unto us are true. Now do not say, nor imagine in your hearts, that on account of the love of an Ephraim we did this thing that our ancestors did not command us. But because we saw that it was not their intention, and desired to accede to our wishes concerning their daughter as to our taking her, except on this condition, so we hearkened to their voices, and did this act which you saw, in order to obtain our desire from them. And when we shall have obtained our request from them, we will then return to them, and do unto them that which you say unto us. We beseech you then to wait and tarry until our flesh be healed, and we again become strong, and we will then go together against them, and do unto them that which is in your hearts and in ours. And Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, heard all the words which Shechem and his brothers had spoken, and what Camor and his son Shechem and the people of the city had answered them. And she hastened and sent one of her maidens that her father had sent to take care of her in the house of Shechem, to Yaakov her father, and to her brethren, saying, thus did Shechem and his brothers advise concerning you, and thus did Camor and Shechem and the people of the city answer them. And when Yaakov heard these words, he was filled with wrath, and he was indignant at them, and his anger was kindled against them. And Shimon and Levi swore and said, as Yahuah lives, the Yahuah of the whole earth, by this time tomorrow there shall not be a remnant left in the whole city. And 20 young men had concealed themselves, who were not circumcised, and these young men fought against Shimon and Levi, and Shimon and Levi killed 18 of them, and 2 fled from them, and escaped to some lime pits that were in the city. And Shimon and Levi sought for them, but could not find them. And Shimon and Levi continued to go about the city, and they killed all the people of the city at the edge of the sword, and they left none remaining. And there was a great consternation in the midst of the city, and the cry of the people of the city ascended to heaven, and all the women and children cried aloud. And Shimon and Levi slew all the city. They left not a male remaining in the whole city. And they slew Camor and Shechem his son at the edge of the sword, and they brought away Dinah from the house of Shechem, and they went from there. And the sons of Yaakov went and returned, and came upon the slain, and spoiled all their property which was in the city and in the field. And while they were taking the spoil, 300 men stood up and threw dust at them, and struck them with stones, when Shimon turned to them, and he slew them all with the edge of the sword. And Shimon turned before Levi, and came into the city. And they took away their sheep and their oxen and their cattle, and also the remainder of the women and little ones. And they led all these away, and they opened a gate and went out, and came unto their father Yaakov with vigor. And when Yaakov saw all that they had done to the city, and saw the spoil that they took from them, Yaakov was very angry at them. And Yaakov said unto them, What is this that you have done to me? Behold, I obtained rest among the Canaanite inhabitants of the land, and none of them meddled with me. And now you have done to make me obnoxious to the inhabitants of the land, amongst the Canaanite and the Perizim, and I am but a small number? And they will all assemble against me and slay me when they hear of your work with their brethren, and I and my household will be destroyed. And Shimon and Levi and all their brothers with them answered their father Yaakov and said unto him, Behold, we live in the land, and shall Shechem do this to our sister? Why are you silent at all that Shechem has done? And shall he deal with our sister as with a harlot in the streets? And the number of women whom Shimon and Levi took captives from the city of Shechem, whom they did not slay, was 85 who had not known a man. And amongst them was a young damsel of beautiful appearance and well-favored, whose name was Bunah. And Shimon took her for a woman, and the number of the males which they took captives and did not slay was 47 men, and the rest they slew. And all the young men and women that Shimon and Levi had taken captives from the city of Shechem were servants to the sons of Yaakov, until their children after them, until the day the sons of Yaakov going forth from the land of Mitzrayim. And when Shimon and Levi had gone forth from the city, the 2 young men that were left, who had concealed themselves in the city, and did not die amongst the people of the city, rose up, and these young men went into the city and walked about it, and found the city desolate without man, and only women weeping. And these young men cried out and said, Behold, this is the evil which the sons of Yaakov the Ivri did to the city in their having this day destroyed one of the Canaanite cities, and were not afraid of their lives of all the land of Canaan. And these men left the city and went to the city of Tapnach. And they came there and told the inhabitants of Tapnach all that had befallen them, and all that the sons of Yaakov had done to the city of Shechem. And the information reached Yeshuv, king of Tapnach, and he sent men to the city of Shechem to see those young men, for the king did not believe them in this account, saying, How could 2 men slay waste such a large town as Shechem? And the messengers of Yeshuv came back and told him, saying, We came unto the city, and it is destroyed. There is not a man there, only weeping women, neither is any flock or cattle there. For all that was in the city the sons of Yaakov took away. And Yeshuv wondered at this, saying, How could 2 men do this thing, to destroy so large a city, and not one man able to stand against them? For the like has not been from the days of Nimrod, and not even from the remotest time has the like taken place. And Yeshuv, king of Tapnach, said to his people, Be courageous, and we will go and fight against these Ivrim, and do unto them as they have done unto the city, and we will avenge the cause of the people of the city. And Yeshuv, king of Tapnach, consulted with his counselors about this matter, and his advisors said unto him, Alone you will not prevail over the Ivrim, for they must be powerful to do this work to the whole city. If 2 of them laid waste the whole city, and no one stood against them, surely if you will go against them, they will all arise against us and destroy us likewise. But if you will send to all the kings that surround us, and let them come together, then we will go with them and fight against the sons of Yaakov. Then will you prevail against them. And Yeshuv heard the words of his counselors, and their words pleased him and his people, and he did so. And Yeshuv, king of Tapnach, sent to all the kings of the Emirim that surrounded Shechem and Tapnach, saying, Go up with me and assist me, and we will smite Yaakov the Ivri and all his sons, and destroy them from the earth. For thus did he do to the city of Shechem, and do you not know it? And all the kings of the Emirim heard the evil that the sons of Yaakov had done to the city of Shechem, and they were greatly astonished at them. And the 7 kings of the Emorium assembled with all their armies, about 10,000 men with drawn swords, and they came to fight against the sons of Yaakov. And Yaakov heard that the kings of the Emorium had assembled to fight against his sons, and Yaakov was greatly afraid, and it distressed him. And Yaakov exclaimed against Shimon and Levi, saying, "What is this act that you did? Why have you injured me, to bring me against all the children of Canaan, to destroy me and my household? For I was at rest, even I and my household, and you have done this thing to me, and provoked the inhabitants of the land against me by your proceedings." And Yehudah answered his father, saying, "Was it for naught my brothers Shimon and Levi killed all the inhabitants of Shechem? Surely it was because Shechem had humbled our sister and transgressed the command of our Yah to Noach and his children. For Shechem took away our sister by force and broke wedlock with her. And Shechem did all this evil, and not one of the inhabitants of his city interfered with him to say, 'Why will you do this?' Surely for this my brothers went and smote the city, and Yahuah delivered it into their hands, because its inhabitants had transgressed the commands of Yahuah. Is it then for naught that they have done all this? And now why are you afraid or distressed? And why are you displeased at my brothers? And why is your anger kindled against them? Surely our Yah, who delivered into their hand the city of Shechem and its people, he will also deliver into our hands all the Canaanite kings who are coming against us, and will do unto them as my brothers did unto Shechem. Now be tranquil about them, and cast away your fears, but trust in Yahuah, and pray unto him to assist us and deliver our enemies into our hands." And Yehudah called to one of his father's servants, "Go now and see where those kings who are coming against us are situated with their armies." And the servant went and looked afar off, and went opposite Mount Sikon, and saw all the camps of the kings standing in the fields. And he returned to Yehudah and said, "Behold, the kings are situated in the field with all their camps, a people exceedingly numerous, like unto the sand upon the seashore." And Yehudah said to Shimon and Levi, and to all his brothers, "Strengthen yourselves, and be sons of valor, for Yahuah is with us. Do not fear them. Stand forth each man, girt with his weapons of war, his bow and his sword, and we will go and fight against these uncircumcised men. Yahuah, our Eluah, he will save us." And they rose up, each girt on his weapons of war, great and small, 11 sons of Yaakov, and all the servants of Yaakov with them. And all the servants of Yishak who were with Yishak in Kevron, all came to them equipped in all sorts of war instruments. And the sons of Yaakov and their servants, being 112 men, went towards these kings, and Yaakov also went with them. And the sons of Yaakov sent unto their father Yishak, the son of Abraham, to Kevron, the same as Kiryat Arba, saying, "Pray, we beseech you, for us unto Yahuah, to protect us from the hands of the Canaanite who are coming against us, to deliver them into our hands." And Yishak, the son of Abraham, prayed unto Yahuah for his sons, and he said, "O Yahuah, you did promise my father, saying, I will multiply you as the stars of heaven, and you did also promise me, and establish you your word, now that the kings of Canaan are coming together to make war with my children, because they committed no violence. Now therefore, O Yahuah, the Eluah of the whole earth, pervert, I pray you, the counsel of these kings, that they may not fight against my sons, and impress their hearts of these kings and their people with the terror of my sons, and bring down their pride, that they may turn away from my sons. And with your strong hand and outstretched arm, deliver my sons and their servants from them. For power and might are in your hands to do all this." And the sons of Yaakov and their servants went towards these kings, and they trusted in Yahuah. And while they were going, Yaakov their father also prayed unto Yahuah and said, O Yahuah, powerful and exalted Yah, who has reigned from days of old, from thence till now and forever. You are he who stirs up wars and causes them to cease. And your hand are power and might to exalt and to bring down. Oh, may my prayer be acceptable for you, that you may turn to me with your mercies, to impress the hearts of these kings and their people with the terror of my sons, and terrify them and their camps, and with your great kindness deliver all those that trust in you. For it is you who can bring people under us and reduce nations under our power. Chapter 35. And all the kings of the Emorym came and took their stand in the field to consult with their counselors what was to be done with the sons of Yaakov. For they were still afraid of them, saying, Behold, 2 of them slew the whole city of Shechem. And Yahuah heard the prayers of Yashar and Yaakov, and he filled the hearts of all these kings' advisers with great fear and terror, that they unanimously exclaimed, Are you silly this day? Or is there no understanding in you, that you will fight with the Ivrim? And why will you take delight in your own destruction on this day? Behold, 2 of them came to the city of Shechem without fear or terror, and they killed all the inhabitants of the city, that no man stood against them. And how will you be able to fight with them all? Surely you know that their Yahuah is exceedingly fond of them, and has done mighty things for them, such as have not been done from the days of old, and amongst all the Elohim of nations. There is none can do like unto his mighty deeds. Surely he delivered their father Abraham the Ivri from the hand of Nimrod, and from the hand of all his people who had many times sought to slay him. He delivered him also from the fire in which King Nimrod had cast him, and his Yahuah delivered him from it. And who else can do the like? Surely it was Abraham who slew the 5 kings of Elam, when they had touched his brother's son, who in those days dwelt in Sidon, and took his servant that was faithful in his house, and a few of his men, and they pursued the kings of Elam in one night, and killed them, and restored to his brother's son all his property which they had taken from him. And surely you know that Yahuah of these Ivrim is much delighted with them, and they are also delighted with him, for they know that he delivered them from all their enemies. And behold, through his love toward his Yahuah, Abraham took his only and precious son, and intended to bring him up as an ascending smoke offering to his Yah. And had it not been for Yahuah who prevented him from doing this, he would have then done it through his love to his Yahuah. And Yah saw all his works, and swore unto him, and promised him that he would deliver his sons and all his seed from every trouble that would befall them, because he had done this thing, and through his love to his Yahuah stifled his compassion for his child. Have you not heard what their Yahuah did to Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and to Abimelech, king of Gerar, through taking Abraham's woman, who said of her, She is my sister, lest they might slay him on account of her, and think of taking her for a woman? And Yahuah did unto them and their people all you heard of. And behold, we ourselves saw with our eyes that Esau, the brother of Yaakov, came to him with 400 men, with the intention of slaying him, for he called to mind that he had taken away from him his father's blessing. And he went to meet him when he came from Aram, to smite the mother with the children, and who delivered him from his hands, but is Yahuah, in whom he trusted. He delivered him from the hand of his brother, and also from the hands of his enemies, and surely he again will protect them. Who does not know that it was their Yah who inspired them with strength to do to the town of Shechem the evil which you heard of? Could it then be with their own strength that 2 men could destroy such a large city as Shechem, had it not been for the Yahuah in whom they trusted? He said and did unto them all this to slay the inhabitants of the city in their city. And can you then prevail over them who have come forth together from your city to fight with the whole of them? Even 1,000 times as many more should come to your assistance? Surely you know and understand that you do not come to fight with them, but you come to war with their Yahuah, who made choice of them. And you have therefore all come this day to be destroyed. Now therefore refrain from this evil which you are endeavoring to bring upon yourselves, and it will be better for you not to go to battle with them, although they are but few in numbers, because their Yahuah is with them. And when the kings of the Emir heard all the words of their advisors, their hearts were filled with terror, and they were afraid of the sons of Yaakov, and would not fight against them. And they inclined their ears to hear the words of their advisors, and they listened to all their words. And the words of their counselors greatly pleased the kings, and they did so. And the kings turned and refrained from the sons of Yaakov, for they dared not approach them to make war with them. For they were greatly afraid of them, and their hearts melted within them from their fear of them. For this proceeded from Yahuah to them, for he heard the prayers of his servant Yishak and Yaakov, for they trusted in him. And all these kings returned with their camps on that day, each to his own city, and they did not at that time fight with the sons of Yaakov. And the sons of Yaakov kept their station that day till evening opposite Mount Saigon. And seeing that these kings did not come to fight against them, the sons of Yaakov returned home. Hallelujah. This concludes the reading of the Cepher of Yashar, chapters 31 to 35. Praise Yahuah. Mashbeka. Each chapter builds upon each chapter, and I know this recording is already long, but it was so rich. That's why I tell you, I love the book of Yashar, or Jasher, because it's just gives so much backstory and nuggets that you just can't like read it and then move on, So please forgive me and give me some grace to just share, because I've a couple pages of notes here of my takeaways, and I pray that they are a blessing to you. We go back to chapter 31. Verse 3 to 4, just the deception from Laban, and turning off the lights. So that way Yaakov wasn't able to see that he switched the daughters for marriage. And, I find it quite interesting. It just kind of hit me in reading this one again, that even Leah went along with the deception, never wants to admit that, hey, I'm not Rachel, the one you're expecting. But she went along with the whole night, even to the point of him laying with her as his wife, and waking up in his bosom. She never once admitted that, I'm not her, I'm not Rachel. So I thought that was interesting. And even by verse 6, it lets us know in chapter 31, everybody knew that it was Leah, not Rachel, except Yaakov. And obviously by verse 7, they're, the night, they're talking about Haleah, Haleah, Haleah. And if you don't have the Cepher in your hands and you're just listening, there is a footnote at the bottom saying that means she is Leah in Hebrew. So basically they're chanting this the whole night. Yaakov is not getting it, but they're letting him know the whole night she is Leah. And then by verse 12, just the fact that it's brought out that, obviously switched, the instead of him working for the younger daughter, he's given the older daughter at this marriage ceremony. It reminds me of, I've read the book, The Color Purple, as well as I've seen the movie many of times. And it reminds me of, Mr. expecting to have, to marry the younger daughter, but he's given Celie instead.
And, even to the point where he despised Seely the whole time that they were together, because it was the younger daughter he truly wanted. And we get to verse 40. We learn in this that Rachel takes her father's images. So we see that Laban worships other Elohim, and pretty much, he doesn't worship Yahuah. And that just lets you know why, Yahuah said in his word, flee from your family, from your kindred, from your father's house to a land I will show you. I believe that's Genesis or Bereshit chapter 12. I can't remember exactly where it is at the moment in Yasher, but just off the top of my head, Bereshit chapter 12. Because they were serving other Elohim, and he had to separate. Abraham from his family, so that way Abraham can continue to build that relationship with him. But obviously then it came to Shach and now Yaakov, that they didn't grow up in worshiping other Elohim and serving them like their family, from a distance. So I just thought that was interesting that was brought out. And obviously she stole them because her father would seek to know Yaakov's whereabouts. So she was kind of a way of protecting her husband. And we see by verses 31 to 34 that Yahuah increased Yaakov. He blessed him. Yaakov left with wealth to come to Laban, and obviously that was he gave it away to preserve his life to Esau's son. But Yah, end of the day, blessed him, 16 years later to 20 years later with wealth and riches. And by 35, 36, we see that the jealousy and envy with Laban and his sons, is very prevalent here. I do want to add a little side note for you all. The word Elohim. And if you're reading along with me in the Cepher, for example, and you see where it says Yahuah Elohim, and you'll see that I don't say Elohim after Yahuah, is because Elohim means multiple gods. And in Hebrew, the IYM is plural. It's like in English, it represents an S. So it means Elohim is gods. And that's why I don't refer to Yahuah as Elohim with a capital E, because he's not more than one God. He's not, he basically, religion refers to the Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Whereas when you're walking in truth and you study Yahuah's word, you see that, like in Devarim chapter 6, for example, Deuteronomy 6, it lets you know Yahuah is one. He is a separate entity from Yahusha HaMashiach, our kinsman redeemer, and also from the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. He is one. So that's why you don't hear me refer to him in my reading as an Elohim, because he's one. And moving on, I just want to add something else. I just want to say Laban is something else. It's because we see, as we're kind of wrapping up this chapter, that he decides to create strife between the brothers, which are his nephews, and then obviously of the two brothers, one is his actual son-in-law. And as much as he cried and kissed his daughters, to say goodbye to them, he also decided to put them in harm's way with Esau. Not only his daughters, Leah and Rachel, but also his grandchildren. Make that make sense. But it does share a lot about his heart condition. The other thing I want to point out too about Laban is, it reminded me of the 10th commandment, which in the Cepher version of it, it says, "You shall not lust after your neighbor's woman,
Neither shall you lust after your neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. So we also learned that, it lets us know 34, 35-ish, 35, 36 verse, that Laban and his sons, they were jealous. They envied him. They were lusting after the wealth he had accumulated and felt that Yaakov took it from them. But ultimately, they transgressed against this commandment. And it makes me, and applying it to what does that look like for us now? Let's just talk about social media. Let's talk about Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as examples of how this is done. Well, you'll have an influencer go on there and they are showing off their partner, either their wife or their husband or their significant other or their children, you know what I mean? To make you envy what they have going on. Oh, the relationship's great. Oh, they have such an amazing marriage. Oh my gosh, their children are so beautiful. Or, they'll show you their house. So you see this mansion, these beautiful upgrades in their house, things of that sort, and their financial status. Like they'll show off their cars, or they'll talk about their wealth, or even their bodies. Especially with this it's a dying fad at this point, but the BBLs, the women showing off their bodies to show how big their butts are, and also with their outfits. It's all to make others covet or lust after what they have. And mashpika, family, that is so opposite of Torah. And that's why we have to come out of the Babylonian mindset, the Babylonian way of life, because that's not how Yahuah intended it. We're not supposed to be lusting after what others have. We're to be content with whether we're abased or abound. We're supposed to be content with what we have that he's given us. But in this case, Laban and his sons are a great example of what that looks like. And as a result of that type of sin, what does he decide to do? He decides to put not only his nephew / son-in-law in harm's way, and uses his other nephew to attempt to destroy him, and basically creating war and family within the family. So, that's it's important for me to bring that up, because it's not just kind of like this fictional type movie, but it's real. This is our history. And crazy enough, those of us that are descendants, Laban's our grandfather, and you never really think about it that way, but he is, and that's how wicked he was. Not only did he deceive Yaakov the whole time Yaakov served him, but he decided to put him in harm's way along with his daughters and grandchildren. Okay. Moving on. The next thing is in chapter 32 that I thought that was really important, that stood out to me, was Yaakov's prayer. He reminded of Yahuah of his promises. And this serves as just a great model for what our prayers should look like to Yah. To come back to Yah and pray his word back to him, his promises back to him, not things that we want for Yah to do. If we do that, Yah, I desire this, but your will be done. But it was just a good reminder of seeking Yah in prayer and reminding him of what he said. The lesson here is that Yaakov sought Yah for help. He didn't seek man for help. He didn't seek the government for help like people are doing today. He went straight to the source with Yah for protection against his brother, who was getting ready to come against him and to annihilate him and his family. So with everything going in the world right now, we have to be diligent about going straight to Yah as our source for protection and even provision. And we have to trust in him and know that he hears the prayers of the righteous. But you have to walk with Yah.
If y'all's not going to bless you in your sin. Repent of your sins daily, but walk in his truth. He hears your prayers. And so obviously in this case, Yahuah answered his prayers by sending the angels, and again, and then we see that they transfigured themselves into 2,000 men, or 4 troops, if you will. And that did what it needed to do to calm Esau down and create the fear that he needed in him to receive his brother's gifts and also receive his brother. So hallelujah for answered prayer there. I don't have anything I want to point out specifically in chapter 33, although there was a lot going on there. But I do want to jump to 34 to just point out briefly that as they were preparing to fight the Emorym, Yashak and Yaakov prayed to Yah. And that was so significant for me because just they sought Yah. They didn't they weren't looking at their own strength. They looked at Yah. You are the only one that can defend my children. You are the only one that can do this. And I just pray you fight for them. And then obviously in wrapping up by 35, is confirmed. Yahuah heard their prayers of Yashak and Yaakov, and he answered them. And he delivered, Yaakov and his sons. And what I just have to point out, and I just hope I hope the light bulb went out for you in this chapter, and you saw it too. It was just the fact that the enemies, counselors, advisors, recounted everything that Yah did. Like, their Yahuah, their Yah fights for them. He loves them. To the point where they start going through the timeline from Abraham up until this point. How Yah delivered them. How he, they recall the power of Yahuah and everything he did to save Abraham and his seed up to this point. And then, by verse 19, that was the mic drop for me. And I have to read it to you. Surely you know and understand that you do not come to fight with them, but to come to war with their Yahuah, who made choice of them, that Yah chose them, this seed. And you have therefore all come this day to be destroyed. Like, you didn't come to fight them, these men. You come in here today to fight Yah. And know that you will be destroyed. Like, they know the power of Yahuah. Hallelujah. And in verse 24, you heard the prayers of Yashak and Yaakov. You heard their prayers. I read it to you. And you see they trusted in Yahuah. Hallelujah. Yah heard their prayers and he moved on their behalf. And the fear of Yahuah came upon the armies of the Emorym. So as I come to a close, I want to pose this question to you. And as a challenge. And if Yahuah leads you to, post it in the comments. How can you apply, and we as a people, apply what we learned from these chapters, especially 35, to our lives today individually and collectively as a nation? So again, pray about that. If you was already giving revelation and you're led to share, please do so and post it in the comments. But the key takeaways from this, for me, is trust in Yahuah. Bring your petitions before Yah, to Yah. Walk with Yahuah, because he hears and answers the prayers of the righteous. Hallelujah. If you're new to this channel, as I've shared with you before, you'll go to the playlist and you can catch up with prior chapters or other books, Cepherim, that I've read, that I pray will be a blessing to you. And also do want to welcome you to the channel. So thank you for hanging in there this long. And those of you who rock with me, Yahuah Barak Atah. Yahuah bless you. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate the comments. And just as iron sharpening iron, that you're being a blessing to not only me, but to the Mashpaka, the family that do come to the channel, and who are committed to just learning truth and wanting to walk in truth, and hearing Yahuah's word, so their minds can be renewed. And without your support, it's just I don't think that, I just know that you're just a blessing. So just thank you for that. If you haven't already, please share, like, and subscribe to the channel. Aneaha bata mashpaka. I love you, family. Yahuah barakata. Yahuah bless you. Shalom.